I rise today to remind everybody that today is the one-year anniversary of Adam Szubin's nomination to a key federal post that works to stop financing for terrorism. Yet, he still waits a confirmation vote in the full United States Senate. Mr. Szubin, if you've met him, I think almost anyone would agree, he is one of the most qualified people for this job to enforce U.S. sanctions and terrorism finance laws against countries like Syria, Iran, North Korea, as well as against terrorist organizations, narco-traffickers, and money launderers. The Senate needs to do its job by holding a vote on Mr. Szubin's nomination, as well as the nominations of so many other federal nominees. We have to stop putting politics above national security. Exactly 1 year ago today, Adam Szubin was nominated to serve on U.S. Treasury's Department Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Crimes. And for 1 year, Adam Szubin and his family have been waiting for a vote in the United States Senate. And his family. I think way too often when we delay votes, when we string out these nomination processes, we forget that it's not just the nominee, it's also the families of the nominees that are awaiting a final decision. Mr. Szubin received a vote in the Senate Banking Committee in March. Now the Senate needs to do its job and vote on his confirmation, up or down. I have a particular soft spot for Adam because I am convinced that he is one of the most intelligent people I have ever had in my office, and especially in this critical and important job. He has 15 years of experience countering the financing of terrorism in both Republican and Democratic administrations. During Mr. Szubin's confirmation in the Senate Banking Committee last September, Chairman Shelby had called Mr. Szubin eminently qualified. If we're serious about enforcing sanctions against Iran and defeating terrorist organizations like ISIL and Al-Qaeda, we have to stop the financing of terrorism. That means we need Adam Szubin to be able to do his job at the United States Department of Treasury. In January, I visited the Mideast on an official Senate trip with 7 other senators. We visited Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Israel, and Austria. The goal was to learn more about the ongoing threats posed by terrorist groups like ISIL and the progress that we've made to roll back Iran's nuclear program. We met with allies in the region to learn more about how to best prepare the United States to face these issues. This trip was about protecting the safety and well-being of our country. During our meetings, the issue that came up over and over and over again is how do we stop the financing of terrorism? We know that financing is the linchpin of a terrorist organization to be able to do everything that they do, threatening our country and threatening the world. For the United States to ably effectively do that work, Adam Szubin needs to be confirmed to the job that he has been recommended. So some would say it doesn't really matter that Adam Szubin is still at the Department of Treasury, and we really don't need to do this. I think we need to look at, number one, what it means for the individual and their families when we delay these confirmation votes. And I'm not saying, and members on both sides of the aisle will have to make up their mind on how they're going to vote on that confirmation. But why is it that we can't even get a vote? Why is it that we can't even get our job done? And here is a position for which most people in this body would say is absolutely critical to the security of our country. If Adam Szubin isn't the right guy for the job, the right person for the job, then let's find that out according to the advice and consent of this body and nominate somebody else. But why are we holding back on this critical job against a nominee that I would tell you is eminently qualified? And we should be so lucky as to have someone with his qualifications, his capability, helping protect our country. but yet we ask him to wait. We ask other nominees to wait. We ask that they sit by the sidelines with their professional life in limbo while we have political discussions here in the United States Senate. Is this a political decision? Might be, but you know what? Let's take the vote. How is this so hard? How is it so hard to actually put up a number of nominees, take the vote, make the decision, and move on? I think that as I and many of my colleagues spend a lot of time talking to young people, encouraging them to be involved in public service, encouraging them to be part of a system that really does benefit all the people of this country. We ask people to go into public service, and then when they aspire and work to achieve some of the highest positions in our country, we say not only are we not going to consider your nomination, we're not going to vote on it even if after it comes out of committee. That is not a formula that speaks well to our recruitment of the best and brightest in serving the American people. And so a year later, Adam Szubin remains in limbo. His family remains in limbo. His confirmation remains in limbo. Please, let's just vote. There's plenty of votes probably on the other side to say we're not going to confirm you. But it is not right. It is not right. It's not fair to his family. It's not fair to him. And it's not fair to the people of this country to not have a confirmed person in the position that Adam Szubin has been nominated for. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I hope that we can take a look at all of these nominees, break this logjam, and eventually get folks put in positions that are essential for American security.